Thanks very much, Chris. Just to give everyone some metrics to put the site in context, this is sort of a medium site, as was sort of discussed earlier in one of the first presentation. It averages around 2.5 megawatts, but they've got a 4 megawatt biomass boiler. The hot water heat cost is about $3,300 a day, which is a lot more than my hot water bill with my little heat pump. So it's significant cost just on hot water alone. About 25% of the heat overall is from butane, and that's where a lot of the emissions come from as well, because they've got, as we mentioned, they've got a biomass boiler. So I get about 800 tons a year of butane emissions. Butane's more costly and a little bit dirtier than natural gas. The water usage we worked out is actually quite high relative to good practice. So they use about 4.7 liters kiloliters per head, which versus 3, which is good practice. So there's definitely an opportunity to cut down on their water usage and save heat at the same time. I didn't want to give away, their costs, and really it's all really important about how they stack up relatively. So if you take their biomass heat cost is 1x, butane is about twice as expensive. The average works out about 1.2, and power is about 4 times as expensive. Now, that actually was a bit of a surprise. A lot of our clients are in Victoria, and we don't normally have quite that metric. Power isn't normally quite as expensive, and that obviously affects paybacks of electrification quite a lot. So as Chris mentioned, we were looking at quite a lot of options at earlier stages. They were wondering about offsite rendering because there's site constraints, physical constraints as well. I wanted to look at MVR for high temperature rendering plants because as any energy efficiency engineer sort of looks at, when you've got a big refrigeration plant, the obvious thought is, can't we put a heat pump, can't we recover some heat there, produce our hot water there? But the classic situation with rendering plants is you get a lot of hot water from them. So the idea would be to recycle heat within the rendering plant, and we wanted to look at how cost effective that would be. And then obviously also some refrigeration heat recovery options for them. We thought that there would be something in here that we could find some cost effective options for the site. And then we also looked at different rendering technologies because, when you're putting a new rendering plant in, what do you do? And to a lesser degree, we also looked at biogas, but I'm not really going to have time to go into that today. All paybacks that we're talking about here are high level, order of magnitude, and there would be some further work required if they are selected. At a very basic level, if you do offsite HDR rendering, what ends up happening is you waste some heat that goes to atmosphere basically because you've got some exhaust vapors that you have to condense. You do typically, and we'll just talk about it a little bit more later, you do use different technology if you go offsite because you don't want to waste so much heat. But this is just comparing high temperature offsite rendering versus on-site. If you go on-site high temperature rendering, then you immediately can start recovering a lot of that exhaust vapor, and you can produce hot water, around 70 degrees, and you can recycle that hot water and pre-feed your hot water tank in principle. There are quite a lot of balance issues because your rendering plant typically doesn't run as long as your whole site, so you have to obviously have a lot of storage, and sites do tend to waste quite a lot of that because the balance is a bit tricky. But broadly, you recover a huge portion of the heat you put into the rendering plant. Around about 80% of the heat you put in, you get back as hot water, so that's a bit like cogen. Some good economies there. On this particular site, using a lot of water, it would be about 63% of the hot water demand they could produce. And the cost saving versus offsite is about $500,000 a year. So there's a significant benefit to going on-site versus offsite and squeezing it in somehow. You would need a new boiler. And because you still need a bit of additional heat, even if you're recovering so much. From Chris's perspective, that's probably a good thing because he's a bit tired of his old boilers. But we couldn't really quite find the extra 2 megawatts to keep the existing boilers without significant investments. If you consider the different rendering technologies, as soon as you go off-site, you would normally do a different type of technology, but there is also a power penalty to pay. If you put in more equipment to be more energy efficient, you would use more power, and with their power cost, that has quite a big penalty, which kind of counteracts the lower steam demand. So this second row here is your net steam demand from the cookers, the dryers, and the preheater. So you are more efficient, but you use more power. And just looking at the equipment capexes, not even installed costs, the annual operating cost differences between the different technologies really is pretty minor, and it really isn't a payback to going for more efficient solutions. Particularly here where they've got biomass heat, which once you've installed a biomass boiler, as we found at Suntory, it's quite difficult to find paybacks with other energy efficiency solutions because the boiler is expensive, but then the biomass is relatively cheap compared to gas and power. Mechanical vapor recompression, we dealt quite a lot with Harslev, who actually helped quite a lot. I need to thank them for their input and helping us with costs and things like that on the different technologies. Unfortunately, we quickly discovered that your cooker exhaust vapors contain air, which makes your MVR less efficient. There's also volatile compounds in there that you wouldn't really want to inject directly into your blood via blood coagulator. There were really two places we were thinking about using MVR, which is on your tallow storage or your blood coagulator. And unfortunately, you can't directly take the vapor off and boost it up to the blood coagulator because A, there's contaminants, and B, the pressure you require is quite high. So you need multi-stage, which is not that cost effective. And as soon as you're going to take this heat to your tallow storage, you might as well actually just use the hot water directly because your tallow is kept at around about 60 degrees. And if you have to have an intermediate flash tank, another heat exchanger, you flash, you lose some temperature, then you have to boost it up again. And by the time you've done all that, you might as well just use the hot water you produce directly on the tallow storage because we think that the limiting coefficient, heat transfer coefficient, is actually on the tallow side, not on the hot side. So we think that's actually a far more cost-effective route, and particularly on this side because they wouldn't have an excess of hot water, and so you just robbing Peter to pay Paul really if you start trying to be more efficient in this part of the plant and elsewhere. If they can dramatically reduce their hot water storage or hot water consumption, then using some of this heat on the tallow storage becomes an option, but it would require a pretty dramatic change. There were still some heat recovery options. I mentioned earlier that butane is very expensive, and so you could put a condensing heat exchanger in on your ammonia plant and preheat some of your hot water supply to the site and to your boiler. And that's got a really attractive looking payback at this stage, and you would avoid a lot of your butane emissions. You could raise the discharge pressure on one of your smaller high-side compressors, or you could do oil heat recovery as well and pick up the heat recovery. That hasn't got quite as good a payback because you're starting to save biomass now and not just butane, but it does also increase your emission savings. And then a full heat pump, unfortunately, didn't really have a great payback because, as I said, by that point, you're just saving biomass, which relative to their high power cost isn't that cost effective. On other sites in Victoria, I think it would be far more worthwhile looking at if you're competing with a cheaper power price and with natural gas. So in summary, there are some cost-effective heat recovery options, particularly to get rid of butane, and part of the rendering plant solution should definitely be looking. They've got a blood ring dryer which uses butane at the moment, and you could potentially replace that as part of the new rendering technology that they install. So that would get rid of, they could potentially get rid of all their butane usage on a daily basis anyway, maybe still have it as backup. There is good opportunities to save water and heat compared to the good practice. MVR unfortunately wasn't viable, and we've looked at it on low temperature plants, and it's also isn't that cost effective because of the pressures you need. On-site rendering delivers significant operating savings, and I think that's what they're going to be going for now. And you probably need about a 6 megawatt boiler versus the current 4 megawatt boiler, although we'll do a deeper capex study still. And any new biomass boiler certainly should be ready for biogas, but their wastewater treatment plant is a bit of a way down the road, so there are some issues there as well. It's not just across the road, unfortunately. And I hope that's it for today.